Hello, Jeremy.
Hello, hello. Recording in progress.
Thank you for fixing solar. Totally appreciate it. Now it's knocking the wood, everything fine. We resume testing. It's great.
Yeah, what version are you using?
Latest, which is 0.46.1.
No, we're at 48.
I use whatever set by Roger.
Uh,
Okay, let's not jump until super very well tested. Okay. I was sitting on version 35 last year, about like half of year, because it was super stable version, 35.
I know you kept calling it. This is my, I forget the words you used, but yeah, you kept using the same old version, and I was like,
It's
oh,
it's
oh.
stable, never give me any troubles, never, for like 6 months. Then I
And,
switched
and-
to,
but see, you didn't give the other ones a chance. Like I know, like some of them actually had issues, but then we would try to fix the issues, right? And but I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do back with like different types of like cube control calls and things like that. So we had like a lot of our own implementation for like port forward. And so we ended up removing that. But now that we're using cube control as a force dependency, then we may always like want to change some other stuff too to increase stability. Um, because cube control has a lot more logic and there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. So because there's certain calls that we do that there's a lot of logic in. And so to be able to like strip that out and just use a cube control call would be so much helpful. I don't remember which ones they were. I have to look and see them, but yeah. Anyway, I wonder if it was some of that code that created some instabilities, but we got some issues in our pipelines now where things are timing out. And sometimes and we're trying to I need to go in there and see. I think it's because of the block node integration with mirror node or something. I don't know if it's I don't know. We have to look and see. Well, I guess we'll wait a few more minutes, and then you and I are the only ones here. Let me think about it for a second.
just emphasize dedication to solo and projects for community.
Yeah, I know this is the community call, and it's
Yes.
just
I'm a part of community, like I would say one of the
you're one of
most
our biggest users
active user.
for sure.
Yes, kind of. Please don't be sensitive or overreacting for my critics for solo. It's all for good. It's not like critics for everybody. Just me talking to you.
Yeah, you got a special use case, but you're like our one of our main users
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. My problem is, so I use solo that nobody else using. I'm using so much
Yeah, yeah.
latitude.
Nobody else is using it that way. Yep.
Yes, yes, and
Not
so,
yet, anyway. But yeah, I actually at one point in time, I think somebody because we had like back in the 35s or something like that, we had your some of your performance stuff like checked in underneath examples, and
yeah,
so
there are some dead branches. Never meant to merge. It's like a golden branches just for reference. I totally decouple from them yesterday, and they can be deleted. But let me delete by myself.
oh, we already deleted them out of solo.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're gone. But what I was gonna say was that we had a community member reach out to us because he was trying to figure out how to do a performance test and saw that example, but knew he was missing some stuff. And so we had to tell him like, hey, that was a unique scenario and that it's got a lot of other stuff that's not part of solo and we really need to pull that out of examples because they were like how do I run this performance test and it started asking all these other
Ah,
questions of performance
even
tests.
more, Jeremy, it's worth mentioning that network load generator sources kind of has a closed sources, so people from outside cannot see them. So
Uh,
Oleg explains that if troublemaker reads the sources of NLG, he or she can develop some DOS attack scripts. So that's why we keep sources of NLG kind of closed. Okay, that's why. But idea of to have NLG as a precompiled jar file in a solo and deploy with solo, it's a good idea. I totally support it. Great. Also, Jerome,
well,
thank
but you do realize you can just decompile Java code real easily.
decompile, yes, it's totally please decompile, but it's difficult to restore the logic by Java assembler or recompile code. It's kind of it's not so super cool. My point is, let me jump to block node support for solo.
Are y'all obfuscating it?
We're not obfuscating. Yeah, we're not.
You may need to obfuscate it if we're gonna use that jar and you're wanting to keep it private. I mean to make a note and talk to Nathan about
Yeah,
that.
I'll also make a note. Block node for solo. Thank you. Working fine. Working fine. I use it for testing block node on a regular basis. However, I use some little workaround. So I do deploy with solo add block node. It's perfectly starts. But since block node has couple of issues in the logic how they deploy things, I kill the Java and then start my own build of block node with instrumentation, with profiler, and so on. So uh, this is not affecting like a production deployment with block node with Solo, of course. It's only my things. But if somebody mentions that I always redeploy what deployed with Solo, it's because I'm working around known tickets in block node. For example,
Uh,
root mode is not completely root. It's very strange. I submitted tickets. I need root access to the pod where block node is running. So currently they deployed without root. So second, if I kill Java, it should not collapse. It must just stay. Okay, they fixed it recently. It's good, thanks. And what else? Third problem is I cannot use my custom build of block node. It's always assume released build from Artifactory. I work it around. So nothing against solo for block node. It's just
well, okay,
workaround.
so you do know like what you can do. Well, I wonder. So what we do is when we do our block node, if you look at our block node, some of our block node stuff, we have a test where we build the block node locally. And then we basically take and we after we build we compile it, then we build the Docker container for it, and then we side load the Docker container into kind. So and then we I don't know if we override the values file with the new name and repo or whatever, but it'll show up as already cached, and then it'll use that version instead of going and downloading the one out of Blocknode. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's our way to do a local compile for Blocknode. So you can go in there and look at Solo and see how we're doing it. I don't know if that helps you or not because you're running inside of external clusters. And so I don't know. I'm sure there's probably a way to sideload it so you can build it, but I mean you've already got
Yeah.
a way. So I don't
And
know if your way is I mean your way is already implemented. So I mean I don't
I
know.
see custom. Angelina Capellani, welcome to club. Good morning, good
Hi.
evening.
So, do you have any discussion topics, Angelina?
I don't have anything to bring up at the moment.
Oh, okay. Do you use Cello?
I've done work for the Hiero SDK, so I joined in. I saw it on the calendar, figured I'd come in and see if there's anything new or anything to be updated on.
Oh, cool. Which SDK are you working on?
I'm working on the Python one. Currently, right
Oh,
now, I am fixing the node account ID feature for it.
well, that's the new. Oh, wow. Okay. You're because I know Simi's got a lot of the other SDK teams are working on that, and so Python has been behind. So if you're already like implementing that, it sounds like Python's catching up.
Yep, I'm
great.
happy to share a link to what I'm currently working on. Let me see if I can find it for you.
That's cool.
And oh, here it is. So I just made a change about 2 minutes ago. So right now, this is more or less just tweaking. We had an error come up with some of our integration tests, so I'm just going in and trying to fix that so those tests will start passing.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I know this repo was I think people really appreciate it, but Nadine had like a lot of other responsibilities, like, but
Yeah,
it sounds like it's starting to get some special attention, and so it's yeah, that's great. Wow, yeah, oh yeah, look at all these contributors. I think like
yeah.
I think like I guess maybe Python repo is getting so much different commit authors just because people want it, and Hashgraph hasn't really had the time to bring it up to speed. Whereas a lot of our other projects, we start, and I guess we're doing all the work, so maybe we're not getting as many contributions. I don't know. But yeah, are these a lot of employees? I wonder, or for Hashgraph, or are they?
I am not sure the statistics of behind the contributors. I do know some of them are relatively new in the sense that I don't believe that they're doing anything within the Hiero workspace outside of the SDK. From my understanding, it's more or less just a lot of newcomers, people looking to make those first contributions, and then from there,
Oh,
yeah, and then from there they're looking to take on bigger tasks. So it's really nice though. We've had a lot of help on the SDK. And we appreciate everyone's feedback, especially when it comes time to reviews. There's so much to review, so it's always nice having more than one person to try to get it all done.
yeah, 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 that's cool. Well, a lot of times it's just Alex and I on this call, and sometimes because I know it's recording and somebody might view it later, I might like show like this is something that we're rolling out. But like I don't know if there's anything specific. Trying to think of what. I mean, we are working on the NLG, the network load generator that Alex mentioned right as you were joining. Um, so we added that, but it's not we have another GitHub issue to work that will add more functionality to it and make it a little bit better, and so that is about to get picked up. We'll probably have it in by the end of the year, for sure, because it's a major milestone for our team. But yeah, we've had a few contributors outside of Hashgraph, but and one of them was actually some pretty good work, but he kind of stepped away and we didn't hear back from him. So I don't know what happened there, but um, yeah. So anyway, Solo is we're just kind of wrapping it up towards the end of the year, trying to make a couple more. We're gonna continue to bring down the memory footprint. I guess that's probably some big news. Like with version 48, we implemented some configuration changes for block node that was able to bring the memory footprint down a lot. And so now typically if you just boot it up, and it actually booted up without block node even. I think it was like 6 or 7 gigs. I forget what the number is. And so it should now fit within that, 12, 16 gigs or whatever. It also runs on the GitHub hosted runners now. It was barely squeezing and then it stopped working. And then recently Semi tested it and it is working again. And she's able to deploy it that way. So that's good news. So that's version 48 that's got the smallest footprint, I think. Um, I don't know if there's anything else to say. Uh, oh, so we're working on some installation stuff so that I mean I think I don't know if 47 or 48 but we've got it where it'll install Podman if you don't have Podman or Docker installed on your machine on Mac OS. And we're wrapping it up to work on Linux. And once it's working on Linux, it should also work on Windows with WSL2, because with WSL2 is how we're going to support Windows. And I set my personal Windows laptop up the other, last week and worked on it. And if you the Podman part is not working because we have some implementation to do there, but the if you have Docker pre-installed or Podman, I guess, then it will work. You can run and use solo WSL2, and you can even just do like one shot. So that's working. Are you familiar with one shot?
I am not.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's probably a good little thing. I can show you that and it'll be recorded on the call and actually be useful for somebody watching. So
Of course.
let's see here. The best way to show it would be to just open up the solo docs. Solo, and then I'll share my screen. Do Zoom. Okay. So when you go into just docs, I believe, and then click on solo user guide. I believe if you go here, it should have a link. Yeah, so say solo has a new one-shot command. Check it out. And then when you click here, it goes to version 41, which is broken. I have a defect open for that, but you can manually navigate here or change that back to 8, or you could even do, well, that's probably the better thing to do right now. But so the one shot deployment, what you do is like, so let's say that you if you have if you're on Mac OS and you've got node 22 or higher, that was the change, uh, then so you have Node.js 22 or higher. I think is that the only thing you need now? I think so. And then you do an npm install -g solo at latest or at version 0480, which is currently the latest. Then it will install solo, and then you can run solo one-shot single deploy, and that's it with just npm installed. And what it's going to do is it's going to install, it's going to detect and install that you don't have kind installed, or if you do, and that you don't have Docker installed, or if you do, and then or Podman, and then it will install kind, it'll install Podman, Kube Control, and Helm. But it doesn't install it globally, it just installs it into like a solo installation directory. And so for right now, we may change that later. We have it in our plans to change it later to install globally, but right now that's all we're doing. And so and then it spins up the cluster and will do everything and give you a fully deployed environment with one consensus node, the relay, the mirror node explorer, and the mirror node. So you got the explorer and the mirror node and the relay and the consensus node, and yeah, and so it's all right in there, and it'll expose the ports for you too using kube control port forward built into solo. um yeah, so it'll do all that for you. Oh, and it also pre-generates accounts for you, and it's consistently the same accounts. I think they're the same ones that local node generated also, for people who used to like to use local node. Could be like a kind of a drop-in replacement ish. And then the other thing is we have like a lot of examples when you click on examples. But here, let me switch to main though, because I think there was a bug, I think, that hasn't pushed yet. That was, yeah, you see there's more of them here. Not all of them are showing up, but I think we were going to create, well, so this is the one-shot Falcon deployment, but here's a solo deployment with hard hat example. And it needs to be tweaked a little bit. I'm making some comment. This is create a solo deployment via one shot, and it talks about the task file. But see, this is the task file dev. So we're going to add some hyperlinks in here. It was a miss. But if you go into the examples folder, and then you go into hard hat, and you click on task file, and then you can see all the different commands that are being ran in here. And really, where is it at? Here, one shot single. Oh, that's destroy. Where is it? Latest skipping install. Oh, there it is, right there. So, solo one shot single deploy. And then is using hard hat, using the exposed ports and stuff. So I mean, that's one of the use cases for local node. And so we've got that documented here. Yeah, so one shot, yeah, it's nice. We're getting better. I have like a bit of a the block node's going to be integrated into it. I mean, it kind of is, but temporarily until it's like fully ready. I just put it behind a environment variable that you have to set true. Um, and our environment variables are documented also. Um, we don't our environment variables. The reason why they're not like a little bit is these are more for developers that are
Mhm.
wanting more advanced functionality, and we don't want to like bloat the flag list and overwhelm people. And so we put different things in here, and so the the thing about the one shot with blocknet is it was like one of those things where it's not fully ready yet, so it's almost like a, I guess in a way it's kind of like a feature flag, but we'll implement feature flags differently. But yeah, uh, so yeah, it's interesting. So does your, let's see, like if you put in the link, let me see your, I pull that back up again because I closed it. That's not what I want. Oh, it's because I'm sharing. That's why. Pull up the chat button. Chat, 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 chat. There we go. Let's see the repo. So let's see. Runs on. Okay, so you are using GitHub Runner. And let's see, validate. So you're just doing, so test. Let's see what test is doing. Which runners? Yeah, this is GitHub Runner. Python install dependencies. Or Hiero. Oh, so there you go. Oh yeah, we're using the solo action. Okay. Yeah. Environment variables. Okay. So you are using the solo action. Let me see. I don't even know what version they're on right now. They were to custom install previously. I don't think they did if they're using one shot yet. But
I
we
don't
added,
believe so.
you what?
I don't believe we are. I will bring that up to one of the maintainers, Sophie Bullock. She has been very helpful in getting a lot of reviews and maintaining work on
Okay.
this, and she
Like
had.
so here they're switching to 48, and then if I hit let's see. Check some version, deploy test network. Yeah, it's doing it like the manual way, which is it's fine, it's more advanced. And they may still be needing some of it. But what we did is we now have a new one. It's called, and it's probably mentioned here, maybe. I think it is. Let's see. So yeah, here we go. So there's the one shot Falcon. This is new. And what this does is it basically gives you the ability to, instead of running like as you see here, like all these like different commands, like 1, 2, 3, I don't even know how many you have to run of solo to get all these. I mean, right here alone was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's not even all of them, right? Because you got a couple up here, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know, there's a lot of them. I think we actually document some of the steps in here. But instead, what you can do is that you can basically set certain configurations inside of a values file, and then you just run solo one shot Falcon deploy and pass in the values file, and then in that one command, it'll do your more advanced deployment, allowing all those different flags that you would normally get, but also not having to pass in all those flags, but instead moving them all into a values file. So, and then we have that example there too, that outlines it too. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know, depending on what they're doing, what they may want to do is switch to Falcon and then just build the values file, and then they can just and then it would significantly simplify this. But see, the only thing is that I don't know, are they allowing, I think they're allowing people to use older solo versions. And when you, so then you are almost maintaining all that old code too. I mean, but I mean, you could have the new and just if else it, but and then eventually you'd be able to, once you hit a certain point, you stop supporting those older versions and then you would just remove it. But yeah, it gets kind of, I don't know. I don't know, it's getting kind of long in here, but that's fine. At this point, you're like, this is enough code here where maybe it just belongs in its own shell file. But anyway, because then you can run a shell editor, and it'll give you like syntax completion and all kinds of stuff versus trying to shove it in here. But anyway, so whatever. I think I don't know what's going to happen with that project. We've gone back and forth. I don't know if my team will end up owning it or merging. I don't know. There's a lot of conversations about that. About the GitHub solo action, because that was originally that was on our plate to develop, and then it went and got created on a side project outside. So anyway, so yeah, so solo one shot Falcon deploy is the new stuff. Multiple is for when you want to deploy more than one node, but still keep it simple. Yeah. So lots of good stuff there. But yeah, if you're using the Python SDK, so you can see here they're running it, and then yeah, they're doing the integration tests. So that's interesting. Is it because sorry, used to was in the habit of code reviewing, and I just like noticed something. It was like it looks like they're running the integration test before they're running the unit test. I would run the unit test first, like fail fast, that sort of thing, and then run the integration test. But maybe they run, I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, solo, when you stand up, I mean, you could run the unit test like way up here, and then if the unit test fell, then just abort. But it takes like 6 minutes to stand up solo at least, probably, and so your test could have already failed and you'd know, and before it ever got down to there. So I would rearrange that a little bit, but not a big deal. So yeah, so I guess had something to talk about. I know you said you really haven't used Solo, so but do you have anybody have any questions or thoughts or discussion points I can?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, huh?
Oh, I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Angelina. We appreciate it. It's good to have somebody here, somebody else, besides just Alex and I. Alex is our number one fan, but he's also, he's our number one user, but he uses it differently as this, and but he's always joining our community call, which is pretty cool. So
Like help other people with solo. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
it's
actually taking a look at the issues. I noticed there's a little over 200. So I'm
in
very
what
interested to take,
hello.
yes, the repository. I'm interested in trying to get started with tackling some of these. They look very interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got like a lot more that I just have to key in, and some of them I don't like have them like fully typed out where somebody on the team may fully understand it, or somebody I'd have to like talk to them or update the ticket to provide more clarity. But some of them are kind of like placeholders that need to be expanded. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. A lot of work to do, and we got some more stuff coming in for this next year. So, I think like we were just hearing an update for next year, and yeah, we're gonna work significantly across all the teams on lowering the memory footprint for solo to lower levels, and there's some changes with it's called TSS. And I forget what that has to do with, but I think it's like transaction sign state, or I can't remember. Do you remember what TSS stands for, Alex?
Okay, no questions.
Do you remember what TSS stands for?
Uh, it's written by Michael Tinker. It's a signing transaction signing system. So
Yeah, and I think it runs like one of those cryptographic algorithms or something like that that one of our cryptographers developed, and but yeah, it's an advanced signing feature. And it's using a lot of memory, but we're gonna bring the memory down and then integrate it in so that Solo can run it, but still keep the memory footprint down. And then we'll have block node into one shot. And then it will also work on getting the transaction tool version 2 integrated, and all of that, bringing the memory footprint still down to where it will run inside of one of those GitHub self-hosted runners, or a laptop only running 16 gigs of RAM. So that's still our goal. That's some of our goals for next year, as well as we have some major refactoring that we started earlier this year that we had to kind of put on hold, but we'll go back to that and be in our goals for next year, to go in there and uh, kind of we have a design that we're working towards that will create out the layers, and I have those. They're inside of our repo underneath design, docs design or something like that. There's some markdown files, and so we'll work on that, which will, once we get that work done, it will unlock us for a lot more better rapid development going forward. So, and probably maybe reduce bugs as well. Yeah, lots of good stuff to do. But yeah, that's it. So I guess I'll see y'all next month if you join again, and Alex probably will.
Well, thank you both for the information. I look forward to meeting next month, and I'm very interested in this the ones you have for reducing the memory footprint, especially with consensus, blockchain, mirror, explorer, relay, with
Yeah,
trying to get it
yeah,
below 10 gigabytes of memory. Wow, that would
yeah,
be that's very
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got it running in the pipeline with block node at about 8.5 with but that's only running at uh 5 minutes of just using the mirror node's TPS pinger, uh, 5 TPS with the mirror node pinger. But we're going to be using NLG to create a more diverse load, and then bumping up to 30 minutes, brought it to 10.5 gigs at 10 transactions per second, though, which is not, it's a little bit above our goal. So it's just
Mm.
for the end of this year, we have a goal. And so I'm working on that too. So yeah, we're bringing down the memory footprint, but the good news is already you should start to be able to use it. Depending, unless you're running serious loads on it, you should be able to do some basic stuff um, inside of a GitHub hosted runner, which is as we were just looking at your Python workflow, is using a GitHub hosted runner. And so those are limited, whereas on Hashgraph we have our self-hosted runners, which have a lot more memory. And so like the solo itself, when it's running on a runner inside of our GitHub CI, they're using self-hosted runners, so they have like a lot more memory access than the ones that they're self-hosted. Sorry, the GitHub hosted, which are limited. So some of the different SDK pipelines are still using the GitHub hosted runners, which doesn't have as much. So yeah, so it's really good for us to stay below that amount, just because it allows our community to use the various solo installations, whether it be through the action or through just installing solo directly and using it in a CI. Which actually I didn't show it, but Simi um, added an example for how to put solo in a CI, I think. Where did that go? Yeah. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about it next time. Um, but yeah, so I think she added in the docs. That's what it was. All right, well, y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
There it is.